Hello, and welcome to Sterling Armory's Sword Talk. This is episode 3. And if you're not familiar with our Sword Talk, this is where all the Sterling Armory guys get together, drink a lot of mead, and nerd out over all things sword related. Real quick, before we jump into it, we got some shout outs. So I just wanted to thank a couple of channels. We're a pretty new YouTube channel, and we've gotten some help from a lot of a couple other YouTube channels. So I want to say thanks to Matt Jensen, and he gave us some nice shout outs on his channel. And if you haven't seen his channel yet, highly recommend going over there for all things also sword related. He does a lot of neat stuff from a different perspective than we do. He does a lot of destructive testing on different blades from all different makers. And it's just an overall good review channel, and highly recommend him. And then also Alex and Molly over at Star Wars Explained. If you guys are Star Wars fans, definitely go over there and check them out. You probably already know who they are because they have a pretty large channel, but they were nice enough to read some stuff online for us during one of their live streams. So thanks to them. And all right, let's get started. Let's bring in the crew, and we shall get started. Alrighty, so if you watched our first two, flipping around there. If you watched our first two, you have met Thomas and Josh and Colton. But we have a new person today, Chet. So for the intros, Chet, you want to start with, give us a quick intro, who you are, what you do, and all that stuff?
So hi everyone, my name's Chet. I got started with swords about 16 years ago when I started performing, doing medieval fairs. That led to me learning how to work a lot with leather and wood, and over the years I bought several swords from Chris to use in my shows, and eventually I moved to Tampa, so I started learning from him how to make swords, so now I do that as well.
Awesome. And you're I can't remember, do you have an Instagram page? Or is it on Facebook?
There is an Instagram page, but I can't remember. For
Tribal Fox? What's the best way?
I think it's Tribal Fox Creations. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a good way to, or the best way to see that? Whether it's Instagram or Facebook?
Best way would be Facebook, Tribal Fox Creations.
Okay. So that link, when we post this, that link will be below for you guys watching. You can go check him out there. And hopefully, so if you guys were at Combat Con 2 years ago, he was with us there. Hopefully he can come back this year. So we shall see. But it's tough.
My 1-month-old baby. Well, yeah, we'll
You're
see.
Right. Yeah. And then let's do, so go around the room. So Colton, you're up next. Quick intro.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm Colton. Been making swords just very crudely for the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years was the first one. That's probably a stretch. Super basic. And I've just been kind of slowly learning on my own for the last while. I work in a machine shop, so very familiar with all the metalwork stuff. And then I met Warbear, and he's shown me all the real way to do things. And I'm super excited to be here, still learning some of these fine techniques, and love making stuff. So,
yeah, the real way is all of us have a slightly different real way.
Everybody has a little different, yeah. But compared to my original way, these are the real ways.
Awesome. Thomas, quick intro.
Yeah, we, like I said the last time, similar to Chet, I started now almost a decade ago in doing Renaissance festivals. Never met Chris, but heard a lot about him through other products people had. Picked up my first blade, was one of Chris's. Loved it. And then shortly thereafter, he was like, I'll show you how to do it. And I was like, absolutely. I distinctly remember you were trying to show another friend of ours how to do it, and he never had time, and I overheard it and was like, I'll totally learn.
Yeah.
So that's how I picked it up. And that's how I got to know Josh and all of that. Chet and I have done a few shows together. I've knocked Chet out before, in fact.
It was just like the last week that showed up in our memories.
Yep, that was fun.
Is that at Bay Area?
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. I missed that one. I didn't see that.
That was an
Was it on video?
accident, not on purpose. The knockout was not on video. I think there's a picture of it though.
There are some great pictures of just nothing in my face as I'm going right down to the board.
Yeah. Hey, Chet, I've been there, man. And for myself, I'm Chris. I sword maker for many, many years now. Aerospace engineer and martial artist, so that's me. I also did a lot of the Renaissance Fair stuff from 2003 to 2008, I think. I don't remember. Whenever they stopped paying me, so I was like, all right, see ya. Lots of fun stuff. And the great thing about our group is we do have folks from all different backgrounds, from everything sword related. So we have, you just heard two guys talk about Renaissance Fair stuff, and then we have martial artists, machinists, the variety of background we have, we kind of hit every aspect of the sword world, which is great. And then everybody who's come on to either start making blades or just help making blades has been really good at it. So we've been very lucky. So before we jump to the main topic, let's cover what we're drinking. Who wants to start? Thomas, you want to start?
Sure. So today, right? I mean, as fancy as an old fashioned can get, it's an old fashioned. The only thing fancy is like I got a little lime on mine instead of an orange, so I'm technically a heathen.
Oh. Colton, what are you drinking?
So out of mead today. So I've got some Sinfire and some rum chata happening here. So whatever this is called, I don't know. It's good though.
It's called delicious.
It's called delicious.
Yeah, as long as it's not whatever Josh had last week. What was that?
Mike's? I think he had Mike's or something. Those are good. Give
they are.
They have their place.
Yeah. Chet, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Coke and tequila.
Oh, there you go. He's going hard.
Yeah.
I've decided on a Thursday night, tequila's a good idea.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually. I should probably take that next time.
Tequila Thursday.
I'm still working on. This is my second bottle. The first bottle I had last week of the Dunks to mead, and again, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Chet, do you know how to pronounce this?
Dunks? No.
So there's the spelling.
Dunks.
If you guys.
Dansk.
Dunks.
Dunks.
Yeah, it means Danish in Danish.
Okay. And I know MJOD, however you say that, is how they say mead. Yeah. But how do they say
mead?
It's probably like mead.
Mead? Yeah. It's good. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So I got my fancy cup for today. So
love it.
All right, let's dive into the main topic. And again, the first one episode 1, we went like 2 hours. So we're going to try to keep everything down to around an hour. Hopefully we won't go too long. But the main topic today was Thomas's choice. So Thomas, you want to describe the main topic?
So the topic today is
pregnant wife wandering.
So the topic today is going to be some of our favorite implausible or impossible weapons. Things that are still really cool to us, but we also recognize probably couldn't actually exist.
Yeah. Awesome. Chet, tell Nikki we said hi. That's the famous Nikki in the background.
Yeah, I'll say hi.
You're ruining my shot, but also they say hi.
So yeah, we're gonna go over our favorite things that we love to hate, things that we loved growing up, and that we know are just completely not practical or probable. So I'm really curious. I did see everyone's list, but I only saw it and read it briefly, so I don't remember what everyone's list was. In fact, I have a hard time remembering what mine was. So
he's going to be surprised to him.
Yeah. So let's get started. I'm going to pull up the list. All right, Colton, you got the first one.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So,
I'm hiding here.
it's loading. This thing, I don't know how I feel about it, and it was one of the first ones that just popped into my head.
Right, yeah, agreed.
Something we love to hate. I'm just like, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
I
this thing
don't
messes
think
with
he
my head.
uses it very well in the movie, shall we say? But like he just pulls it out. And it's just this massive hunk of steel that I feel like you're gonna cut your own back with. Maybe I don't know. And I was just like, okay, why does Thanos need a sword?
That's what I was.
But
wondering.
he uses it well, so it just kind of popped in my mind. I'm like, I got to put this out there.
So
I
went
don't
back
I
in
don't
the-
know.
I was gonna say I went back in the comics and I tried to see if it had like a comics like origin to it, like if it actually existed in the comics. Maybe it does, but I couldn't find it. So
I have no
any
idea. I've
idea?
never
Anybody
read
know?
comics. And quite frankly, I've only seen this movie one time. But it stuck out in my mind. So I was just like,
That's impressive.
it's got to be one of these. I do like the angular shapes to it. Like the whole thing itself is impressionable, but I will love to hate it because I'm just like I don't understand it. I don't get the point. Why does this guy need a sword? First off, he does better when he loses his sword and he's just like punching people. It's like what? Why does this guy have this thing? But I mean,
does it actually
Anyway-
spin around his hand, or is he spinning it?
I think he just spins it. I don't think it spins around his hand. It's just two massive blades with a teeny little handle in the middle.
It's the handle that
Okay.
ruins it, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, it's the Darth
Right?
Maul blade, but with
Yeah.
like a handle that his pinky barely fits around.
Exactly. If the handle was as long as one of those blades, so you could like two hands use
Yeah.
it, I could get on board with it. I'm just like, how do you use something like that with one hand? Like, that's
Like, yeah, you're basically stabbing with one hand and trying not to stab yourself
There you
with
go.
the other.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the first time I
did-
saw
I did-
this, like, it just stuck out. Was just like like if it was
Yeah, it's
double-sided, maybe it would make more
Maybe?
sense. But no.
Yeah, I'm just like, I can't get behind the design flaw. However, there's some cool scenes. I mean, obviously the Thanos fight scene's fun, so it's
Yeah.
like
yeah.
it works.
I did an
I don't
audible.
understand it.
What
It
the-
looks like he stole it from Naruto.
That's
Accurate, 100% accurate.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory there.
Yep.
So audience, let us know what you think below. If anybody knows
Somebody's
anything
like, well,
more about this,
historically,
than we
this
do.
blade actually existed. And when we-
Yeah,
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Who knows?
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna try to before we move on. I'm gonna try to help Chris out. Stop hiding back there.
Yeah, I'm
put us
hiding
down
there. We go.
here.
Hey, I can stand up. I was hiding under the stuff.
Yeah, I'm
There we
watching
go.
you like slowly slide further in your chair. Like, I'm here, guys. I'm
A
not
little bit of
under
a-
the sign. Now I'm
Things
hiding.
we didn't practice. Yeah.
Actually. Oh, here we go. I might just have to forego the signage for now for the sake of things.
Yeah, that's fine.
But,
All right.
so
Anything
next
else
up-
on this one, guys?
I mean, that's.
I think
about
it
all
speaks
had
for
it.
itself.
Did it
kinda
ever
just-
actually
yeah, it
cut
does.
anything? On
Yeah,
Um,
it cuts
it-
the shield.
yeah, it
This
cuts-
is what he's using
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to break the cap shield.
Maybe that's why they made this. They're like, what can cut Cap shield? And that shouldn't have
Well-
done it. Sorry.
No, exactly. I think that's another point of this. Why
I don't
does
think it
that
cuts
cut
it so much as just like chips it away by slowly breaking it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have
No,
just
I
punched
can
it
see
in
that.
half.
Oh gosh, that would
Yeah.
have been cooler.
It might have been cooler.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What's up next?
Next.
Chet.
Yep. So my number 3, one of my all-time favorite mangas out there is Berserk, and in it, the main character Guts has Dragon Slayer that he picks up along the way. This thing is ridiculously large.
Just a little bit.
Like, the biggest sword I've ever fought with was probably about a 3.5-foot Jean, and that thing was a monster. You had to fight with it like you were using a German longsword. It's the only way you could maneuver it. I don't know how he could do anything with this thing, because honestly, it's like a 6-foot blade. I was doing the dimensions earlier, and it comes out to like being a foot wide. I don't even know how you would begin forging this. You had to have the largest forge in medieval fantasy land in
Right.
order to be able to heat this thing up enough to get it into shape. And it has to weigh like at least 200 pounds.
Yeah. This came up.
Minimum.
Did this come up on our first episode or
It
second? I
absolutely
can't remember.
did.
I wouldn't
it's
be
on
surprised
both-
if Josh pulled it up.
Yeah, it's on both my list and Josh's list as our in our top 5 favorites.
Yeah, we're
There
trying to
we
figure
go.
out
Like,
how do we make it.
so I thought about it more, and obviously it would change the design a little bit, but instead of how it's like flat on the top, instead if you just turn that whole middle piece into a fuller, you could almost justify that. But even then, you're still basically taking
If it was
20 pounds
aluminum.
out of 300 pounds. So
Right?
so it's like, well, I technically made it lighter. You still can't swing it, but I made it lighter.
Yeah.
Just take
We were
out
wondering-
the entire core in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We were wondering if, because we know BKS did a
They
build
did the
on
Golden
this.
Age.
The Golden
Michael
Age, right.
Cthulhu, who's another, he does big swords, and he actually did do the Dragon Slayer, and it's an excellent watch. I highly
Yeah.
recommend watching his stuff.
But
He's
I know
hilarious
Michael's
to
is all
watch.
steel, right?
I think so,
What-
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if the BKS one was, and I forgot to ask him. I was going to ask him, but if they did aluminum base with a steel edge, which is how I would do it, but it still would be like 50 pounds. So
I'm pretty sure they did theirs all out of steel too, because I think they actually did, because it was part of their series, and all of their Forged in Fire. Wait, I'm now mixing up my.
yeah, what's the name of their show?
Man at
Not
Arms.
Forged in
Man at
Fire.
Arms.
Man at Arms. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, all their Man at Arms. I believe they do forge all of the stuff for that.
I think so too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I should ask him.
Like a
Sorry,
pen.
Matt Carey or Matt.
No, I remember now.
Carey,
I remember now what they did with this one.
If you're watching.
They actually grabbed a railroad piece, like a piece of railroad, and chopped it off, and that's what they used for the blade.
Got some 1050 in there.
That'll do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was still a monster for them to swing around. It was awesome to watch.
Yeah. Gotta love the anime blades.
Yeah.
All right. Am I next or Thomas? You
I think I am next. Yes, I'm
Oh,
next.
you're next.
So Dante's blade from Devil May Cry is a fantastic blade, and I think the blade actually could be made, but like that pommel work is on par with Conan's stuff, and just how ridiculous it is. And if you ever played the game too, the stuff he does with this is just like, yeah, no.
I'm trying to figure out the tip design there.
Yeah, it's to look cool. That's it.
Is it?
There's no function. I mean, different at least. I think
Yeah.
it looks cool. I love,
Looks
I love Devil
a
May
little
Cry. The
phallic.
whole. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you played the game, it's all about stylism, and like fallacy would 100% fall within that in that series. And the sword is just a classic throughout the entire series. It's Dante's main blade, and I love it. You can almost make this real, but it would just be, yeah.
Totally make it real.
How big is that blade? Oh, sorry, Chet.
So to tie in that fight that I did was with a 3.5 foot Jean is when I was playing Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, really?
And it all comes
Did it have that
full
tip shape
circle.
on it?
No,
It's
it did
very
not.
phallic.
It was just a Jean.
Oh, you're missing out, man.
Yeah, no,
How
that looks
big
like
is
some
that?
fun casting.
Yeah. How big is that supposed to be?
So, like, within the game, it's one of those, like, classic video game things. He wears it on his back all the time, and it's, like, all the way down to at least his knees on his back from, like,
Claymore size.
all out here, all the way down to his knees. It's meant to be a long, long sword.
Wow.
I'm sure, like, someone somewhere is going to be like, well, it's exactly this long.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys
According
know,
to
let us know.
the Capcom wiki, it weighs this
Yeah.
much, and
And
so forth.
don't stab yourself with the pommel.
Mhm.
Or you might get pregnant.
Oh,
All right.
Uh,
I'm gonna jump to my number 3. All right. So I approached this a little different, right? So the idea was, swords that we love but we know are impractical, improbable, and so the way I approached this was, and I was kind of thinking that most people would look at design and practicality. So the ones I picked, the designs actually aren't terrible, but the actual use of the blades and how survivable the blades are is just absurd. So you'll notice all 3 of mine have a similar trend. The first one here, if you watched Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, This Green Destiny is made out of unobtainium, I guess. I guess it can cut through anything. It's as thin as a razor, and nothing. The durability and reliability of this blade is unmatchable, right? It's like adamantium or vibranium, and it cuts. I don't know how many swords it cuts through throughout the run of the show or the movie, but it just goes through everything. And so when I, growing up, when you see swords like this, which there's a lot of them, and you'll see in my other picks, you kind of get the wrong idea of what a real sword is. And so, growing up when, doing either martial arts or stage combat, I always thought my sword should be invincible. And if it takes any sort of damage whatsoever, then it's not a real sword. Obviously, that's a very, very wrong view of actual swords. But yeah, so that's why I picked this one. Great piece, but yeah, and probably indestructible. So, any other comments on this one? Again, it's a great design. It actually looks just like a bunch of original pieces. It's just it's an immortal sword somehow. And I give this one a little slack because they do actually talk about, like, it does fit within the realm of the film. Like, they actually say and give a reason for it being the way it is. Kind of. And you'll see in some of my other picks, like, they don't even talk about it, they just show it. So
yeah, it's cool for the sake of being cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool to watch him. What does he cut, like a teacup completely in half? Like,
I was gonna say, like, that's one of the things about it is I have not seen this movie in so long, so I like vaguely remember. I genuinely forgot there's swords in that movie, and like a specific sword, because it's been that long since I've seen this.
Alrighty, on to number twos. We spent a little bit more time on number twos because we.
I think the number threes were very much for a lot of us, just kind of like, yeah, this is a sword. We recognize it.
We flew through the number threes. Oh, awesome. Colton.
There we go. So, again, I feel like this one kind of speaks for itself.
Right.
I guess I'm just basic because I'm just like, impractical swords. And then these ones just kind of kept popping up. I cannot figure out the logistics of this thing. How do you have you all seen this movie?
Yes.
I've not, but...
Okay. So, I mean, like, that sword blade breaks apart into, like, a long chain, and then she flips it around and then can just retract it again, and then it's a solid sword blade. So I'm like,
come on, man, you can do that.
You could do that. Okay. So...
I saw it in one of my animes. It's real.
Yeah, obviously. It's totally real. So, I mean, like, it's a fairly cool design, and the idea behind it, again, is awesome. So it's just like, if you could, figure out how to make that sword and have it be strong, and then also figure out how to practically use that, because, like, I don't understand how you, like, why would you want a weird chain whip sword that transitions back and forth?
Because, I mean, killing yourself is the coolest thing, right?
I guess. I guess, like, I don't know. So,
all right, hear me out.
Okay.
So here's my take.
Wait, hold on. Is this the alcohol talking?
No, not yet. It's not. So there's enough room sitting inside the that handle that I'm gonna put forth that you could have a coiled spring with, like, steel wire that runs through the center of the blade as well as closer to the edges, so that it doesn't just, like, spin off on you when you try to retract it. And that's going to be my only guess for how you could possibly make this happen, is it's just some kind of, like, super wound, like, clock spring hidden inside the guard that just pulls it all back in.
That has a switch.
Yeah, so as an Assassin's Creed switch somewhere.
Yeah.
I've totally, like, I've ran this through my head so many times, and I'm like, if you had little slots that each little blade piece would fit into, and they were kind of wedged, and they could, like, nestle back together, and then, yeah, you've got, like, a spring-loaded cables in there. I don't exactly know how that retracting and whatever function works, and, like, the locking mechanism that'll keep those from being floppy. But, like, I'm on board with you. You've got the right idea there.
I wonder how much tension that cable would have to be under
Exactly.
to hold that thing still.
To like
I could probably do a run
quantify as a
scouts on that.
sword.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you could. I guarantee somebody could make a prop version of this, like out of you just 3D print it and it looks really cool and it pops out and it comes back in. But functionality wise, when you go to try to use this thing, it's either just gonna bend or it's gonna break or it. Right? I mean,
I think,
magical realm, dragons, so whatever goes.
Not this specific one, but like, Soul Calibur, this is basically Ivy's blade too. It's a sword whip. And like some people have tried to make that, and that's basically what they do is they like I think one that I saw was they actually like had a hand crank to crank it back in. And then they like basically held it, and that was the tension was their own grip. And I'm like, that's gonna work. But I mean, like, that's kind of the idea, right?
Well,
you just have a winch on your forearm.
Yeah, you could have an electric motor in there, and like with technology being what it is today,
you up to a car battery
you could get a motor and a gearbox and a high-powered battery system, and just like crank it down in, and then let it wheel back out. Like it's possible, I guess.
We should reach
Somebody
out
can
to
do
that.
it. I can't do it.
Yeah, what's the guy's name who does all the possible engineering stuff? What's his channel? I forgot his channel, but yeah, we should reach out and say, hey, here's one, try this.
We'll
be like,
make one of these.
Let us know.
Alrighty. Which one's next?
Me.
Chet.
All right.
I've noticed a theme here.
Yeah, I got
Look, I took Impractical to very
large
sensible
links.
places. So this is the Zanbato from Rurouni Kenshin, used by Sanosuke Sagara. It's really only there for like his character introduction arc. Yeah, like it's there for a couple episodes. It randomly pops up back throughout the like canon. But honestly, it's like 15 feet of steel. And one of the things I do like about it is based on like a traditional Japanese blade that was made for taking out a horse, so that you could then get to the rider as they tumble to the ground. But it was nowhere near as big as this thing is. If I remember correctly, when I was looking up the stats, it's also up there in the like 300 to 400 pound range. The implausibility, a lot of it comes from the character. Like one of the first things he does is just like pop out and hold it like this one-handed, and I'm just like, absolutely not.
As
like
you do.
The best part about that is the fact that it's just a wood handle. Like it's not a wood with a tang or anything. It's just wood with like inside the steel, no guard. So like him holding it one-handed, looking at that weight, it should have just like snapped at the handle.
Yeah, it's literally just like the quintessential of that meme, like parry this.
What I love about the image is like, is that a sword or a tree?
Yeah.
So, kind of looks like a tree.
This is very much I just like, what if we took the Dragon Slayer and we mixed it with Sephiroth's katana and just made a fat version of that.
We're gonna
the man is standing on it, for God's sakes.
That's exactly. I was just like, there's somebody just sitting on it. So now that's a sword. If somebody can sit on your blade.
If nothing else,
there you go. That's
like
quintessential.
It really goes to show how strong he is. That he's not only holding the sword up, but he's so strong that he doesn't recognize somebody is now standing on his sword as well.
All right,
while holding a smaller sword.
Yeah.
No. Awesome. So that's got to be. Is that the biggest? That's got to be the biggest, right? Other than like a Transformers blade.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna argue that he might have bigger than Grimlock's.
Yes. Not compensating. It's fine.
At all. There might be some Dark Souls ones that can rival it.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad. I don't have any Dark Souls on my list. Those get some crazy ones.
Yeah, mine are reasonable compared to those.
So mine's next, and mine's a little bit of a joke, because it's actually two. So that's the actual sword. It's called the Fallen Guillotine. But I wanted to make an honorable mention that this down here, that's a gun that's shaped like a sword.
Yeah,
That's a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no. So this is
Historically
from.
plausible.
I don't feel like it's shaped that way,
Yeah, no.
but yes, plausible. But the actual sword, the fallen guillotine here, take that, Thanos.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was going to say. Is that
Yeah,
Thanos?
yeah, there you go.
Just folded
That's
up.
if Thanos' blade had been folded
half
up
of it.
on itself. Yeah. Or or just
there you
half
go.
of it. Reasonable.
So
So
why is it lit up?
Is that the angle?
space magic. That's why.
Oh,
Space
True.
sword.
On the inside, it's a vibroblade.
yeah. There you go.
The inside where no one can touch. It
Why
has
not
no
put on
point.
that should be the outside.
You'd think.
Yeah. Did they give an explanation
If
for
you've
it
got
in the universe?
vibroblade technology,
Absolutely not.
it should be on the outside.
So
Right.
and I wish I could put animated GIFs because this is actually I play this game. I'm addicted to this game. This sword is still kind of the meta sword to use in the game because the entire concept is you run in, whack a thing a few times, and then you just spin around like a top, and that's the entire mechanics of this sword is spin around and whack things.
So it's a Montante. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
swing it around. Or it's Wyhander. So you guys know that.
Basically.
Yeah.
I will give them this. They definitely
Does
animate the Molinet look really cleanly.
Does it unfold though? Because it looks like it unfolds.
It does
No,
look
it doesn't.
Like it.
No, it's just
Oh, it doesn't?
it's just the way it is.
Missed
Nope.
opportunity.
Yeah.
It could be a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought when I
Possibly.
first saw it.
It opens up and
Vibroblade
closes.
scissors.
It even
Yeah.
looks like it's got a pivot joint.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
the more we look at it, I've never thought that deeply about this because that would require me to think too much about this. But you're right though. It definitely looks like it has that pivot point and everything. But no, it's just a big square.
So I wonder what the edge geometry looks like on that thing.
Probably like space.
Yeah.
So I think in Destiny 3, you're going to find out that it does act like scissors, and that's the big reveal.
They're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see a pop up next week. It's like, introducing the new sword. It's literally just this that opens. I'm like, those son of a bitches stole my idea. They listened to our podcast and they didn't
Yeah.
shout us out.
Awesome. I haven't played that yet, but I have heard that it is pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Get on that.
Yeah, I could have loaded my list down with just Destiny swords because they're just all they have one called the Lament. That's it's basically a 40k chain sword. And it sounds like a breast pump sped up. That's the actual sound effect for it. And yeah,
Why?
because that's what it sounds like, man. I try not to question it too much. I just
Yeah.
I play a
That's
Titan.
fine.
I'm too busy eating crayons while I'm playing.
So, there you go.
So, but yeah, so that's my
Alrighty. Are we to me already? Wow, we're
man.
blowing through these.
Yeah, we're blowing through it. I think we're gonna say more about our number ones for sure.
Okay, yeah, we need to. So again, this sword comes up in probably all my lists. Now again, design-wise, that's a pretty practical sword compared to everything we've seen. So what's not practical about it is, and this is kind of the theme of my list. Oh, we lose Chet.
Yeah.
What's not practical about this blade is it somehow lasts over a couple hundred years, actually over 1,000 years. This sword was made in what? I think it was 500 BC, according to the show that it's in.
Yep.
And it somehow has no damage on it. So after all these years. So it's been fought with apparently quite often for over 1,000 years, and it's still in great shape. So that's where I approach this like, hey. So, and I grew up on Highlander. So again, this is the reasons why I had such incorrect views on what a proper sword is growing up, because I thought swords should be invincible. Like this, you should be able to chop an entire tree in half, and and
The blade's
just like
fine.
what's his name? Why can't I've already had too much to drink. What the heck's the guy's name? Sean Connery. There you go.
Oh,
So you can chop a tree in half like Sean Connery did, and the blade's fine. So it's like, and it also got thrown off a mountain. And then it got electrocuted. I don't know how many times this thing's got electrocuted. And it's okay. It's totally cool.
You know what the answer is? The answer is space magic.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, even
magic,
better.
right?
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens from Zeiss magic.
Yeah.
That's the answer, man. That's why none of our swords are invincible.
I kind of wish that the show and the movies would have given, because obviously immortals are running around, so it's not normal. I really wish they would have given a reason for these swords to last. Like I wish they would have said like, hey, an immortal sword is tied to them somehow, and it has its own magical properties. But they never say that. It's actually just it's made by a normal person. It's a normal sword, even though it's somehow made 1,000 years before the technology was ever invented. So.
Yep.
So yeah, like it would have been cool had they made it tie into the universe, but they didn't. It's so, and that's why it's on my list of impractical swords.
I will.
So, but hey, if I could have a sword that would last forever, I would love it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, did anybody else have that same? So, I even had the same thought when I was watching this when I was like 9 years old. Like, especially when he cuts. So Connor at the beginning of the first movie cuts into that concrete block, and then he pulls the sword out, and and then she goes back to find a piece of the blade, and there's like she pulls out a massive chunk of the sword. It's like,
where did that come from?
Yeah, like if that sword is breaking that big, how is it still existing? So
self-repairing.
Yeah, that would have made sense, right? It would, just like the immortals themselves, it would have made sense if they explained that the swords self-repair. That would have been cool. But yeah. So did anybody else have those same thoughts, or was I just a super nerd?
I mean, I definitely agreed with the indestructibility. My first sword was a replica of this sword, and I definitely took it into the woods behind my house and tried to take out some trees unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
Definitely some bad
there you go.
On that one.
Yeah. There you go. Did you go chop down a tree with it?
That's
the first one.
Episode.
Actually, yeah. Hold on.
Oh my god. Here's the tree I cut down.
Oh, there's the other one. Okay.
Here's the first one. It's mostly glued back together, but can you see the missing pieces? From when it shattered in my hand when I tried to cut a tree down.
It's too small, man. Too small.
Oh, is it? Shoot. So yeah, so there's a big crack. Here we go. So you can see there's pieces
there we go.
missing.
Yeah.
So this entire thing shattered off. So,
all right.
It just completely broke off. But surprisingly, that was it. Trying to chop a tree down. We lost Chet again. So hopefully we'll jump back on. But yeah, so I glued it back together, and it actually doesn't look terrible glued back together. So hopefully it'll be, I'm surprised that I was able to get it back together this good. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, I honestly beyond the chips that you. Beyond the chips you showed, I honestly would have never thought that it broke off. So you did a great job putting them back together.
Yeah,
it's almost like you work with swords for a living.
That's plastic. So the whole handle's plastic. So yeah, but yeah, that was the first one. So Chet, I did the same thing. Try to chop the tree down.
You're not living until you try to chop down a tree.
Right.
With a sword.
Yeah. Alrighty. Actually, how many different... So, I'll fess up to this. How many swords have you guys broken trying to chop trees down? So, I have... This is going back to when I was at least 8. So, I didn't learn my lesson until... I didn't actually learn...
Yeah, do wooden swords
until I was in my late teens. So, I have to say I've at least broken 6 or 7 swords on trees.
My God.
If we are counting when I was playing Make Believe with a stick I found on the ground, I've reached that.
No, sword.
Match that number. Oh yeah, then 1.
So you learned quick. It took me a while to learn.
No, I was too poor to afford real ones. That's why there's 7 or 8 wood ones.
Okay.
Well, and so from my, yeah, no, like all the swords that I have made, I knew from the beginning they would not take a hit. I was just like, nope, this isn't gonna work. I didn't even try it. So there we go.
So you're thinking.
And then
yeah,
no, I mean, like I had a couple little swords as a kid. Teenage years, I had a couple other ones, and basically from the beginning, I'm just like, these are not gonna last because they were just super cheap. I got a couple like $20 stuff from the Ren Fair back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I should have, but it was I don't know. Never tried it.
Yeah.
Never broken a sword on a tree.
I'm
Well, I
gonna
mean-
go with. I've got
Good.
two. I've broken two. Yeah. They were both machetes, but I'm gonna count them.
Yeah, I mean they're supposed to.
They're supposed to
hold
work on the
trees.
trees.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Trying a little
not
too
whole
hard.
trees, but yeah.
We got a lot of woods behind my house.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So again, things you learn from 80s movies that you shouldn't do at home. So kids, if you're watching, don't chop trees with swords. So actually, when Game of Thrones was out and Rob broke his sword on the tree, or not broken, but he ruined it.
Mhm.
I was glad they actually talked about that. Like
It was Rob.
hey, you just ruined your sword. Because I mean, he was upset and he just started beating a tree. And I was glad that the show actually addressed that because I'm pretty sure that's the only show that's ever said anything like that in terms of the real reliability of an actual sword. Like, hey, don't hit the tree. You're going to break your sword. And so I was happy that actually came up. So sorry for the sidetrack.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. On to number ones.
Yep.
Already number ones.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
this is
can
the
buy this everywhere,
Minecraft
though.
Golden Sword. Okay. So, I love Minecraft. I've played it since it was like beta back on PC. I have way too much fun with this. And now me and my kids play it all the time. Every time this sword pops up and like my kid will go make a golden sword, and I'm just like, you're wasting our gold. Like they can't. I was like, why are you doing this? We got to make powered rail, man. Like that's a precious commodity. And they're making swords out of it. The durability is like crap. It's in this realm of
As it should be.
well, I don't even know. The durability is like 39, and like an iron sword, for perspective, is like what 300 or something. You get into diamond swords, they're like 1200 durability. I'm not sure if those are the right numbers, but how cool do you feel when you run around with the golden sword, though? Right?
Right.
There's the 2 points. I'm just like, you're wasting our gold. They're breaking apart. They don't last. They don't damage enemies very well. Like everything about these are terrible. But when you get your little guy and you're running around in full gold armor with the golden sword, you feel pretty badass in that game. So I love to hate this because my kids waste all of my gold. But that
As they
being
should.
said, I always have myself a golden sword. So
I kind of want to make one in real life, but have it
Yeah?
pixelated like that.
So I've made
Yeah.
a couple just like wood versions for the kids, and like down on the wood handle, like I'll straighten that out so you can actually grab it, but the blade itself will look pixelated. So
Awesome.
Nice.
you could do that in steel. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want
Gold,
to
man.
see. I want to see the edge geometry
gold.
Chris puts on this,
You're right.
Yeah, let's see
Yeah.
it. Let's see it.
pixelating it while also
It's-
going down.
Oh, God.
Very geometric.
That
Distal
hurts to think
tapered.
about. Distal tapered.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh my goodness, that point
Yeah,
alone.
well, you
So,
can.
I mean, do you guys play Minecraft?
I do.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Used
yeah, I
to?
used to.
Okay, awesome. So you all know what I'm talking about. There we
Yeah,
go.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're picking up what
Perfect.
you're putting down.
I do
Yeah.
love that they do give it a very bad durability, and it
Yeah.
can't really do anything either. It just looks cool,
Yep.
which is
It
great
just looks
because
cool.
that's.
I'm trying to remember honestly in the Nether, if you have golden armor, then certain mobs won't attack you, and I don't know
Yeah.
if that translates to if you're carrying a golden sword, because then all of a sudden maybe it has
It makes
more of
sense.
a purpose, or can you enchant them? I don't know. I don't know if I've gotten deep
Definitely
enough into
enchant.
that. You can enchant them, but do they get that much better?
No.
Now you're asking
Right?
me deep lore, and I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Audience, do you know?
I'm going too far in here. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
No,
never-
that's what the audience is for. We let the audience go deep.
There
and
we
let
go,
us know,
perfect.
so that way
Checkers.
next time we play, next time we
Please
play,
tell
we'll be
me.
able to use their knowledge.
Exactly. Please
Yeah.
tell me what to do with the golden sword. Because like, I've never attempted to actually beat the game and make it to the end. I've never made it that far. I'm always just running around building castles. Like
They're gonna be
that's
like,
all
oh
I
yeah,
do.
the
It's
golden
like,
sword
mine,
one shots the
build a
nether dragon.
castle. That's it.
Yeah.
I've never. Oh, you've made it down there, down to the
No.
nether dragon. Oh,
No,
okay.
that's that's what I'm saying though. That's what the comments are gonna say. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, use the golden sword in the nether.
Oh,
the
probably.
nether dragon. One shots
Totally.
them.
Yeah.
What?
Something.
He's
I
allergic
have
to
no
gold.
idea.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. The thing doesn't even land.
Awesome.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, maybe someday I'll have to make myself a golden Minecraft sword, and I would love to hang it on my wall. That'd be cool.
You gotta do it out of bronze, so at least looks gold.
Yeah, I could do bronze or brass or something. I mean, even that though, if you make it to scale, that is a lot of brass or bronze, and
Go big or
I
go
don't-
home.
I don't know if I want to pay that much for it. Quite
Yeah,
frankly
right.
That's
speaking,
true. Yeah, bronze is
Like-
very expensive right now.
if we're talking like, it'd have to be at least an inch thick, like to make it feel proportional for the pixely. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of bronze, and then to cut it, yep.
Yeah, you just gotta
I'm
order
out.
bronze by the pixel.
Yeah, wonder if you could. I'll just order
Yeah.
a 1x1 square cube, and then I'll just start brazing them together one
There
every
you
month.
go. There's the solution. You don't even have to taper it at that point.
No, it doesn't need to be.
It's a pixel. That's fine.
It's a
It is
pixel. It
one
doesn't matter.
pixel per pixel.
Oh my god.
Alrighty.
Alright. So Chet.
All
we got-
right.
What do we have here?
This is one sword, but not really.
Yeah, so this is one sword that can transform at the user's will, made from the fang of a demon. You know, what more do you want from a sword? What else could
It's
be
true.
more implausible? Um, yeah, so this sword is really cool. It's from the show Inuyasha. When I was growing up, I was a super angsty little emo teen who absolutely loved this show.
Now
And
he's just a super angsty adult.
yeah, now I have my own children to raise into angsty teens. Yeah, so not only is this sword
And speaking of, there
speak of the devil,
they will appear.
don't drink that. Do not drink that. What's up? Hi. Like, very briefly.
Oil.
Of course, right when I need to talk, he shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you talking about me.
Yeah, this is Chester Scott V, also known as Quint.
Awesome. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, you're sick. You should go. You should go hang out with Mama for a bit.
Yeah, he likes Inuyasha too.
You know, they had a follow-up show that came out the same year he was born.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Go get Mama. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Anyways, so
Adorable.
this
Yeah.
this sword was magically made from the main character's father's tooth. It transforms into that giant one that's the second one. And then after he has absorbed blood, I can't even remember all of these steps. The red one can like cut through any barrier. The one underneath it can shoot out diamond blades. It's called adamantine, so it just screams adamantine, throws it out, and just, all these diamond daggers go flying out, which, you know, would be really cool to replicate. I don't really remember what the green one does. I just know it happened after they like fused a dragon's arm with it, as you do when you are
Yeah,
reforging
yeah.
a blade. And the last one shoots out crescents that send you into the middle of nowhere. They just like black hole galaxies. You can just slice off and throw out.
I
So
never got that far in the show.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it is obviously 99% a real blade.
There's that 1%. It's
Yeah.
definitely the green one that's pushing it. You know, dragon.
I love
arm.
that it's a normal scabbard though, and he pulls it
yeah.
out and it just.
Well, the scabbard isn't normal. The scabbard, for some reason, can absorb energy attacks. I don't
right.
know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I
you
just
know,
love
it's
that
a
it
double
looks
weapon.
normal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
When
I first saw it, I
wish
was
you would
like-
make one of these for me.
Yeah. When I first saw it, when did this come out? I didn't see it when it first came
Forever.
out. I saw it.
It's been
Early
90s.
2000s.
Yeah, I think I saw it in the late 2000s, and I was like, wait a minute. So,
That doesn't
when he
seem
pulls it out
right.
for the first time, you're like, holy crap. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
How does that fit in there?
He is a grower, not a shower.
It's a TARDIS scabbard. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scabbard of holding.
Right. Exactly. Awesome.
So I've never
This-
seen this show.
You gotta watch it. It's fun.
So all of these blades are just like, it's like a gun sword? You're saying
it's the
all
same
of these
sword.
things just shoot off? Well, but like it
No,
shoots
no,
ice,
they all
it
have
shoots
different
portal.
powers.
Okay.
It just depends. You know,
Yeah, it's
the more
the
in
same
touch you get with
sword.
your demon, the
Like you
better
do.
your powers get.
Awesome.
And it
Okay,
changes
okay.
your sword. Yeah,
Okay.
like so the first one starts off by being able to throw out like energy blades, and then the red one can cut through shit. But
Well-
like honest
Does he ever
honestly-
pull it out and it looks normal?
and tries to use it, not really.
Yeah. I don't
Unless he's
remember.
like full demon. Demons can't hold the sword for some reason because
Okay.
magic.
Yeah.
So if a demon
Obviously.
picks it up, it'll just stay a regular sword and burn their hand. But if you're
Well-
just a regular human, you might be able to just blow it up if you really have the power.
So what you're like, I'm just a little confused here. I need to go watch this. But you're saying
Yeah.
it's shooting things off, right? So like
Yeah.
the diamond, it shoots out blades, and then you're saying
Kinda
it
like
shoots,
Zelda?
Kind of like Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you know when Zelda's sword is all powered up and it just shoots its random lasers out of it?
So okay.
No.
So it's, all right.
Yeah.
I got you. I got
Yeah,
you.
I mean
That
it's
makes
obvious.
sense.
Swords should shoot
Actual
laser beams.
diamonds.
So like
Four
things would-
diamonds. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when
Okay.
he swings it, it fires off the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I love the fur guard, by the way. I always love that.
I know,
It's a
right?
Fur ball.
It's
of a
fantastic.
guard. Awesome. Alrighty.
All right. So the next one is mine, and you'll notice the blades aren't too bad. The reason this is on the list
I love
is
that.
because they're all called Falchion.
Right?
Now I understand you're the expert, Chris. So please explain to us why these are not Falchions.
Yeah, when this came out, they got a lot of crap for that, and I'm pretty sure they still do. Like, why did you call these?
They don't
Falchions?
care.
Yeah,
Because
like,
it sounds
they're not
cool.
single-edged weapons.
So that's the beauty of the series. So like historically, nobody knows the exact reason. At this point, we just theorized that they were like, when they were making the game, they're like, oh, we have to call the hero's sword something, because in the game it's called the Falchion, but it's also referred to as the hero's blade, but or the light blade, something like that.
Do you think maybe they meant to call it the Falcon, and there was
No,
like an
absolutely
error
not.
in translation somewhere?
Nope, because every language this translates
Absolutely
into
not. Look at those
is
falcon
Falchion.
wings.
Yeah, right. That's what I was wondering.
yeah. No, I can see it.
No, like because like the creator himself was like, yes, this is the Falchion, and like said Falchion, and he's been asked 1,000 times, and he's like, nope, that's the Falchion, and he just didn't care that that's the name of an actual sword. He was just like, that's a cool name. I'm gonna name my first game's hero sword after that, because like throughout the rest of the game,
Alright.
all the other characters that don't use these three specific swords, they actually have like legendary names and stuff, but like this was just like, we're gonna name this sword after another sword that it's not.
So my next broadsword is gonna be called Katana.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was just trying to
The
think of what I'm
marketing.
gonna do.
word of mouth. Everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, have you seen that katana from the Sterling Armory guys?"
yeah,
It's
no,
actually like a Type 18.
right.
This is
You
my
could
cutlass
name it-
model.
Hi guys, I'd like you to see my Dow. It's just a freaking stiletto.
Yeah, hear me out though. Make it with a blue hill and call it Cortana, and then just slightly slur it so it sounds like katana.
There you go.
And there you go. This is Cortana.
Really,
And they're just like, wait,
Yeah.
katana? What are you talking? No. There you
Colton's
go.
just again head of marketing.
Slur it? No way.
Just slur
Who
it a
drinks
little
at a
bit.
Sterling
Cortana.
Armory booth?
Awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if we actually look at the blades, so, and this is a question for you, Chris. Like, what is the reality of the right one with the big hole in the middle of that being really functional? Like, wouldn't that kind of like, I guess it's not really a hole in the middle the way the blade shape, because
Yeah.
it's like split, and then you've got the guard. I just feel like that would weaken it up some.
Yes.
Or it would be nothing
the
else
way
in
they
game
did that
games.
one, not so much, because you do have enough. I'm going super nerdy here. You do have enough material that is wrapping around that opening that it probably would be fine. But why?
Well, so
Is the
Because
question.
it looks cool.
it looks cool, and I'm gonna say
It does
like
look
it's
cool.
it's kind of giving me like the like Renfrey sword vibes, shall we say?
does,
because
yeah,
it's got
a
that
little bit.
similar blade going on there. So
Yeah, even series does that too.
yeah, there you go. Like I mean, it's cool. I don't hate
There's
that.
there's another blade from I think it's from like a 70s movie
Hmm.
that has it looks very similar to that one.
I bet there is.
Actually, I really like the far left one. It's very
Yeah.
Zelda-ish to me.
No, I mean
Yeah,
honestly,
that's-
those are all pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm really liking them. The aesthetics of it just really fun.
Yeah. The middle one definitely looks like it was 100% inspired by the Master Sword. It's got the the nice the wing look to it,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
like it comes back and then opens back out.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought that one would be fun for Chris to lose his mind over. It's called the Falchion. No, it's not.
You're mispronouncing
No.
it. It's messy.
I remember when that came out, and
That's called
I just
Messer.
my head hit the table. I was like, no, what? So yeah,
So the best part is, like the fun one about this one was I played the first one and it didn't even register to me, right? Like I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's the name of the sword, the Falchion, because I didn't know a lot about swords as a kid. I didn't know sword types. It wasn't until the third one came out, or the one on the far right, when that game came out and they brought it back as the name of the sword, and I was like, oh, that's all the things everyone's been talking about.
yeah. I do appreciate though that the fact that a large portion of the community knew that Falchion was just the wrong name. So that's good, right? Like 10 years ago, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But now, like, it actually, people know. So that's great. That means more info and more knowledge is getting out there. Whoa,
Yep.
dogs are going nuts.
Yeah.
Right, on to mine.
So the last one is
I forgot what my number one was. So, again, this is the very first movie that I watched as like a 5-year-old. And so Conan is in this cave where there are people who clearly have been dead for at least 50, 60, if not 100 years. And it's not a dry environment. There's a pool of water and water dripping everywhere. And he picks up this sword, which looks completely corroded, which is how it should look, right? And then somehow he bangs it on a table, and the rust just falls off. And it's magically clean, like it's brand new. And even as a kid, I was like, "What? Like, how is that possible?" And I remember looking at my
we
dad.
need to tell
like,
Gary this technique, by the way.
right? Yeah. Like, did they oil it that good? Like, was there just cakes of oil on there that
They oiled
hundreds
it
of
in
years of
metal.
being in a wet, damp cave didn't corrode the blade at all? so
No,
aside from the
Conan.
design, aside from the, the design is it's fun, it's cool, but it's very impractical. But yeah, just the fact that it just magically just doesn't rust, like it doesn't corrode ever. So again, this is one of those where I wish, because there is magic in the movie, they talk about it a lot, but they never say that the sword itself has a magic property to it. I'm like, they should have done that, or else it just makes no sense. So but yeah, so that's why I had to jump to number one, because as a kid I thought, swords should be not only invincible, they should never corrode, they should just be immortal objects.
And if it does rust,
Clearly.
you need to bash it on something and it's fine.
Yeah.
Go hit it against
so
a tree. You're good.
Yeah.
Luckily, I
Two birds, one
I never
stone.
tried that.
Get rid of the rust and chop down the tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got to resonate it
Yeah.
at the right frequency.
Exactly. Just
That's it. That's
get off rust.
And if you're really lucky, you'll get the lightning strike it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not only that, he can jump out of the cave and then use it with one swing to chop like a 2-inch chain right in half. Just chink, and chains off. It's like, holy
No
crap,
damage to the blade.
swords are amazing. Why doesn't everyone have a sword right now? That was my thought as a kid. So
Where are we using guns? Look at how awesome these are.
right, yeah. And I also love the fact that the next scene, because the wolves were chasing him, and then the next scene, his scabbard was just wolf skin. That was awesome. That was great writing right there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's very practical. I did like that part of it. But yeah, just the whole idea of, it's got to be a magical sword, right? But they never talked about it. And it's not that it can't rust, because later on when he meets, I can't remember the wizard's name. He actually tells him, like, oil the sword. It's like, why do you have to oil the sword? It's clearly it'll never rust. So it was just so silly. But yeah, that's why, again, another immortal version of a sword that's not realistic at all. But I think we all know this, and if you're watching these videos, you probably know this. But that's probably the number one question that we get asked at either sword booths or we're vending somewhere, is people expect that, people who don't know swords that well, they just expect that a sword should be able to survive anything. And if it can't, then obviously it's not a real sword. It's so frustrating. So that's another reason why my list is the way it is. It's because that's one of our most common questions. So I think that's all going to fall over, I bet. But I think years ago at Ren fairs, like, people would demonstrate the strength of their sword by, like, breaking bricks or doing whatever, something silly that a sword's not supposed to be able to do.
Right.
And so people think that, oh yeah, that's a real sword. If it's 6 pounds and can hold up a car and can break anything, then that's a real sword. So having to fight that narrative to kind of make it more real, give a more real interpretation of what a sword is, it's quite difficult. And I get emails today asking me to make a lot of things that we've seen here. So, like, oh, why can't you make a 6 foot long, 10-pound sword? That should be easy.
I'm gonna make a fake account and send you a request for a Falchion, just like the Fire Emblem ones now. But I'm never gonna I'm just gonna slowly describe it piece by piece until you get it. Like, yeah, I'd like to have a Falchion. Oh, okay, what kind do you want? Well, I'd like something with this kind of a handle, and I want it double edged. Like, what?
Right.
See how long it takes you to get it.
Yeah. There was one person messaging me now that I was pretty sure Josh was messing with me. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, these were great. So our next topic will be going. So Chet, it'll be. I'm sorry, I've had a little bit too much to drink. So our next topic will be to Chet. So he hopefully will be able to make the next one. All of us have pretty busy schedules, so I'm actually surprised I've been able to make the first 3. And it's always going to be the 3 of us or 4 of us, or hopefully one day we'll get all 6 of us on, although that'll be a very long video.
When the planets align.
Right, yeah. We're all busy. This is none of our full-time jobs, but we do, we're all sword lovers, and so I'm excited to see the next topic that Chet will come up with. And then the one after that will be Brandon, who you guys haven't met yet. And then Colton will come up with the following one, and then it goes back to me. So hopefully you guys are having fun watching these. This one will air. So we're filming this. What's today's date? On the 24th. This probably won't air till so the second week in I can't even think.
24th of April.
April, yeah. So it'll be a while now, but yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you stayed on this long, we're at about an hour, so we're gonna end it here. But do we want to run through Josh's real quick? So Josh couldn't make it, but he had some good ones too.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, so let's see if we can run through Josh's real quick.
Okay. So in honor of Josh's picks, we've got.
Yeah, this almost made my list. In fact, this was on my list.
This one almost made my list as well, actually. I was real hard-pressed not to include the triple blade sword.
Right, that shoots out swords. I mean, what more can you want in a sword?
It looks like a starship. Is like
It does.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
it shoots
got
out
so many
starships.
guards and
Yeah.
wings. Man,
Awesome.
I love this thing. Do we also want to quote Josh and
Yeah.
his,
Did he have a? Yeah. Go ahead.
So to quote our beautiful warbear, the triple blade sword, this bullshittery of a sword blows my mind. The only thing that makes it understandable is that it was concepted early pre-80s when everything was weird. Someone was probably on drugs and thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, oh yeah, LSD, absolutely.
It 100% was involved in the design of this.
Yeah.
They probably did lines of LSD and coke on this
Yeah.
thing.
Brought to you by LSD. Yeah. All right.
His number 2 was the
Yeah,
Kurgan.
he and I talk about this sword all the time. You want to read his quote there?
So, the Kurgan is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Woo. Oh, what the goddamn is that? Of course, it's fantasy. As a kid, my brain even was confused with making a sword with a breakdown blade being a terrible idea, and the idea of a spring-loaded sword breaker's spikes somehow engineered into the grip.
Right. So this sword was great until they showed it in a suitcase in pieces. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Are you serious? So,
Yeah.
what's funny is people have tried to do that, to make it functional, and nope, nothing's worked.
Just doesn't work.
No.
The worst part is like
so good though.
I love this picture too because like you look at the blade tip and you're like, what's going on down there? Like it looks like it wanted to be a point and then they just kind of like gave up halfway and rounded it out.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he stabs somebody though, doesn't he?
He does. Yep.
Yeah.
Butter knife style.
Yeah, no, he just forces it through, and it's very rough for everyone involved.
And those little spikes. I mean, what the heck are they gonna do? Like they're so small.
And they're so
They just
tiny.
go pink.
Tickle you.
They're for the vibe,
You're
ambiance, ambiance. That's what they're there.
So, if you ever get a chance to see a version of this in person, what's hard to tell is how massive that guard is. That guard is so freaking huge. It's the one on the film had to be aluminum, but if you were to make that out of steel, the guard itself is 3 pounds.
Oh yeah,
just the
Like-
guard.
remember this is Clancy Brown, so like,
Yeah.
if you can imagine, he's pretty big. He's a larger guy.
Awesome guy.
But yeah, no, he is a great guy. And then the last Josh sword.
Yes.
Was
This fits in well with Chet's.
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness, yep.
So to quote
Yeah.
Josh yet again, that this is hypocrisy at its finest because he loves the Dragon Slayer, but
Yeah.
the Buster Sword looks like it was designed that way on accident, and then left it in the final game design and just kind of said, "Meh, that's good."
Compared to everything else, I absolutely agree. Right? It looks like it was, just for fun. Like, hey,
It's
it
like
has to be
somebody
funny.
took a scaling tool on a katana and just kept like
Right.
messing with it, and they were like, "Ah, crap, it's too big," and we're on a deadline. Leave it.
Yeah, I know. Like it was supposed to be a dagger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And they submitted it, and like the bosses were like, "What's this?" And they're like, the sword." I love it.
everything else in that series, well, not everything, but most of the stuff in that series looks reasonable, except for this thing.
No.
So,
There's a man with a
Yeah.
minigun on his hand.
oh,
looks-
true.
For a
Yeah,
hand.
That's reasonable.
Yeah,
The,
you know,
the main antagonist has a katana that, like, there are shots where it's basically wrapped around his body in like a circle, and you're just like, what?
yeah.
Honestly, he looks like a borrower that got a hold of someone's Tonto.
Right. Yeah. All right. If you want to bring us back up for the outro, there we go.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, thanks,
there's Josh's honorable mentions.
Yeah, awesome. So again, thanks for if you hung out with us this long. Let us know your list of most
Improbable and impossible ways.
impossible swords below.
Your
let us know
favorite
your
piece
thoughts.
of bullshit.
Yeah, right. I mean, the sword community. Everybody knows. There's fantasy in Hollywood, it really takes a lot of liberties there.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know. I'm sure there's some good ones that we missed.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So So thanks again for joining us, and catch us next time. And also our How It's Made series is going. By the time this airs, we'll probably be on How It's Made number 6 or 7, or maybe 8 by then. So hopefully that's going well. And yeah, thanks again, and make sure to check us all out. So real quick before we go, where can everybody be found at? So Colton, you want to start? So your Instagram, again, we're going to link everything below, but just go run through it real quick.
Oh man, I
remember?
feel like I'm put right on the spot. Yeah, I forgot last time. So Instagram. You ask me and then I forget.
All right, Thomas, you want to go first? Copperthorn, there we go.
Great. Yeah. Okay. I'll go first. You can't find me. Period. Just
That's
message
true.
Sterling
That's
Armory.
Thomas
You
is
can
not
find
online.
me in Destiny, and I won't respond.
Right. So if you want to get a hold of Thomas, email me.
If you'd like to get a hold of Thomas, start playing Destiny 2 and find me online. And maybe if you're good at raiding, I'll talk to you.
There you go. There you go.
So Colton, I give you enough time.
Yep, Copperthorn Customs.
There we go.
That's on. I always forget. I'm like, is it Copperthorn or just Copperthorn Customs? I never forget.
I don't know who I am.
I don't know who I am. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, because TikTok
On
is a
TikTok.
crazy place.
You're on
It's a crazy
TikTok.
place.
Yeah. We have not tried
Not
there
got
yet.
TikTok yet.
We are not tech savvy enough for that.
Yeah, Chet.
My main
Tribal Fox?
page. Yep, my main page will be Tribal Fox Creations. You can find me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, but I'm not very active on Instagram. I've had a hard time getting
Yeah.
back into that account after a phone got smashed. So
Oh. And then all of us as well are on the Sterling Armory Facebook page. And then obviously, if you've seen us, you're on our YouTube page here. And Sterling Armory does have an Instagram, but like all of us here, like I think
Give
everybody
us
has
time.
it.
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. We're also trying to figure out a webpage. If anybody wants to volunteer to help with webpage work, please come let us know. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. And as the outro, so for all your sword makers out there, remember, grinders are for blades, not for your fingers, and especially not for your face. And always keep your peens clean.
Always
Keep
keep
your
your
beans
beans
clean.
Yeah, all right.
That's
Thanks,
good
guys.
advice for everyone, guys.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah,
Always.
that's a Josh quote. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
see ya.
Yep. Bye.
And we will see you next time.